What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of the New Real Estate Roadmap with myself, Chris Cusimano, Jen Konikoff, Alex Mendel.
How's it going?
How's it going? I actually did their little intros for them because they are doing a little prep reading while we start this podcast, because we have a super cool guest, a mega producer out in Piedmont, California, which is just outside of San Francisco. She's been in the game for 35 years. And what I really love about her is that her average price point is way higher than mine, is between 1.5 and 3.5 mil. So anytime someone does business like that, they obviously know a thing or two, and that's why we have her on. Her name is Debbie DiMaggio, right?
Yep, DiMaggio.
There it
that's
is.
right.
And you're not related to Joe. She already told us that. We already asked, if you guys are wondering, not Joe DiMaggio, but
no, I am
No, she
related to
is.
Joe. I am
Oh.
related to Joe DiMaggio. I am cousins. I'm not his granddaughter, but we are.
Oh, you were
cousins.
serious? I thought you were being facetious.
No.
Well, that went over your head, Chris.
It did.
I
It
know.
totally did. I said that. I said Joe's granddaughter, and she said no, his cousin. I thought she was joking, and she was not
No.
joking. Well, that just took this conversation to a whole different level, didn't it? All right, Debbie,
Oh.
talk to us. How did you do what you
Yeah.
do? How do you do what you do?
Absolutely.
Get us going, and we'll
Okay.
make it roll. Make it
And
work.
then we'll
I will
pick your
do
brain
that.
along the way.
All right, great. So I am here in Scottsdale, Arizona at a real estate conference, and I believe in working from anywhere thanks to the phones and internet, because when I started this business 35 years ago, we did not have internet. We had very few tools, and now it's so amazing because we can work from anywhere, and it makes just life easy, and it makes it fun because we can do so many different things while helping our clients. Started out this morning, someone texted me on WhatsApp. I didn't know if I do want to share the story because I didn't know if it was a real person when someone calls me on WhatsApp. So I was a little reluctant, and I
Yes.
thought, you know what, if you're not going to give me your full name and I'm asking you questions and, how are you going to finance it? Do you need a lender? Can we have a conversation? And I asked the first time, what's his email? And he said, I'd rather talk on WhatsApp. So I got a little skeptical, so I let it go for a day because I'm at the conference, and I was listening to one of the speakers, and he got a random email and he didn't know if it was true. He kind of followed along like I did, and it ended up being the daughter. It was someone calling for the daughter of Brunei or something. So I'm a huge, huge client. So I said, after I heard that story this morning, Jack called. He actually called me on my phone because I let it go for a day. And I did pick up the phone, and he wants to spend $2.5 million, and he is real. And he gave me his email, and we talked about his family, and I asked how I could help, who was in the family, and he said he had a middle school daughter. I said, what does she like to do? Does she like dance? What does she like to do? And I said, okay, great. So we had a wonderful conversation. But I almost let that $2.5 million lead go until I heard it from someone else who is a mega producer in New York.
That's amazing, because we do let those go. Actually, Christina on our team texted me probably yesterday. And she's like, what do I do with these WhatsApp things? I think they're scamming. I'm like, yeah, they probably are. You can just ignore them, because they usually are.
Well,
So,
I mean, some of course are, but definitely go down. I mean, I always appreciate anyone that's going to probe and ask questions, because yes, it does feel very scammy at first,
Right.
but if you don't ask the right questions, you'll never know.
You just
but
gotta try.
in their
Mhm.
inquiries, though, I noticed they have very ChatGPT-ish language. Like, I'm looking for the perfect primary family home for, like stuff like that. And you're like, no one
Right.
speaks like that, right?
Right,
You know?
right. Well, the moral of the story is you got to check it out. Don't totally let it go. It might be a scam, but give it a shot. I have two good stories, mine and his was quite large, multi-million dollar. But we do get hit up in all different formats and devices. So anyway, I practice real estate in California, not in Scottsdale. I practice real estate in Northern California. I was raised in a little town called Piedmont, California. How do I describe Piedmont? It is a small town. We have our own police, our own fire. We have about 10,000 residents, about 3,500 homes. So it's very small. Piedmont, I'm visual. So Piedmont is like this. We're surrounded by Oakland, and we're next to Berkeley and next to San Francisco. So 20 minutes to San Francisco, but it's beautiful. We're in the hills. We look out to all 3 bridges. We look out to Angel Island,
That is
Alcatraz.
super nice.
Sounds
Yeah,
stunning.
so it's very, very pretty. A lot of people hear Oakland and you hear whatever's on the news, and Oakland, there's many parts of Oakland. Back east, I always compare it to, not maybe where you're from in Florida, but if you're on the upper East Coast, New York and Boston and all those states, it's like California. I mean, Oakland covers like 3 states, which 3 states of the East Coast would be Oakland. It's so big. So there's a lot of nice parts of Oakland. We shop in Oakland because our little town does not have restaurants or anything. We have 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. So very specialized, but close to everything. We're 50 minutes to Napa. We can Lake Tahoe, 2.5 hours. Last week we skied for the day, up and back. And we're close to Carmel, 50 minutes to LA. 50-minute flight to LA. And I do practice in Los Angeles as well.
Wow.
You made me realize something. You wrote a book called From Locker Room to Boardroom, Athletic
That's
Mindset Driving.
That's my new book. I've written 4 books, but the one that we're talking about, and I'm happy to talk about it, it's in process, but that is my new book.
Well, my question on that was, because you are related to Joe DiMaggio, does that have anything to do with that book, or are you an athlete in your own right? Like, talk to me.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm working with a book coach right now, which I've never done. All my other books happened because of my first book was my daughter was leaving for college. Then my son left and I was devastated. I was hit by the empty nest big time. I had to reinvent myself. Anyway, so it's so funny. So Joe DiMaggio has nothing to do with it, but my son is a lacrosse player, has always been an athlete. My daughter was my husband played a little bit, not serious sports. There's a whole other story, and that's just part of the book. I ran the LA Marathon last year with 0 training, and that's a whole topic on itself. Only mindset. I listened to a book, and it was only on mindset. I wanted to prove it, and I didn't tell anyone because people thought I would think I was crazy, but I did it. But and I'm not an athlete, but I mean, what is an athlete? I mean, yeah, I can run a little bit, but anyway, so watching my son, I would watch him all the time in football and lacrosse, and he always played up. And when I was watching him, or I'd hear the coaches talk, as a mom, you get really into it and you take it so personally because it's your son out there. And I would watch him gracefully pivot and adjust when he was on the field. And because I'm in real estate, I always bring stuff back to real estate, whatever it is. And I do write a lot of, I call it the Daily Spark. I write a lot of motivational tidbits every morning. But it just comes when I see, and I hate, I don't sit and watch football or anything. That makes me crazy. Or, my husband's watching, but when I'm watching my son or I'm thinking of, athletes, it just kind of, for me, comes into real estate and business. And I don't know why, it just kind of, I compare that, and I don't know why. It has nothing to do with Joe.
What are some comparisons you feel like you have where you can kind of blend the two?
Yeah, I'd say there is a lot of team playing. You guys are a team. You work together. You work individually. You're individually strong. You guys probably, when I'm interviewing other top producers, I find and top business people, they're people who are athletes, have a mindset, or business people or real estate people, because we are on 24 hours a day. We have to feel good. I bet you guys have a morning routine. I bet you guys exercise. I bet you have a gratitude practice. So athletes, it's all about mindset, and everything I do is mindset. And I always come from a place, I'm a mom. That's what I say first. I have 2 kids. Well, they're 27 and 31, but still, they're my kids. So I always want to instill, whether it was in their friends or my kids or young people or people I mentor or coach, I want to help them. And I think of ways to help them and how to describe that. So it starts with mindset. It's accountability. It's everything we do in our business as realtors and any business person.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love that. And I will say, when you said he plays lacrosse and you tie that into real estate, I'm visual too. So
Yeah.
I'm over here. I'm just imagining kids playing lacrosse and constantly having to pivot and turn, which is all we do in real estate.
Right?
I mean, something's coming at us, pivot and turn, or you're getting slammed. So yeah,
Exactly.
I can see the correlation of that book. Oh, I'm excited.
right? And like just this morning, Chris, you were at a listing presentation, and we're always fitting, squares into round
Oh yeah.
peg. We're always trying to make it work, and we don't give up, and we don't make excuses.
Just figure it out.
We just figure it out, and we're on the fly. And so when I'm coaching other agents, so I'm also the marketing director and the coach of our 80 agents. And when I sit with them, and I'm now bringing someone on our team, and I'm trying to, sometimes I don't want to be too hard on someone, but when I'm listening today, this last couple of days at this conference I'm at, whether the top producers who are making millions of dollars a month, not a year, but a month, the top of the top, they are showing up. They're not sending their assistants. They are showing up. And when they show up, that client was like, wow, I didn't think you were going to be here. It is impressive. That was so impressive to me, for them. Not only are they sharing, but they're showing up. They're not making excuses. One guy was walking down the street, and he got a call for this, multi-million dollar property, and he wasn't prepared, and he likes to be prepared. He had to pivot and adjust. He was like, I got to use my knowledge and skill and experience and just go into it. And he got the listing, but you just have to be prepared.
Yeah, it's good that you say that, because I once heard, I want to get this right, but I'm probably getting it wrong. It was either a presentation or a podcast or an audiobook or something. Anyways, I heard the CEO of the Ritz-Carlton say that he has two jobs. The first job was, I don't know the exact verbiage, but it was basically something like, what you expect a CEO to say: increase profits and this, that, and the other, and grow the company. Right. There was a second job that really stuck with me. And his second job was to make sure that the towels are straight for the guest. And you're like, so as real estate agents, like you're saying, the top of the top and the top of big businesses we're in the dirt too. We're not afraid to get dirty, make the calls, go on the appointments and all that. And we have not a stigma, but there is, because we've all been in the game for a little bit. We know agents like this who feel like they got to a point where they don't have to do those things and everyone else does the other things. And, that's just not true. No. You can't scale that way long term, because you can't build trust and authenticity with your client base if you're not in the mud with them, right? Or your team. You can't justify keeping your team with you if they don't think you're fighting with them in the trenches.
You have to be in the trenches doing it. And that's so true about straightening the towels. So I'm training a new agent who I'm bringing onto the DiMaggio beta group. And so when she's doing the open house, I said, now when you're there at the open house, if you see anything, like you're approaching the home, right? You're approaching your open house and you look down. If you see a piece of garbage, pick it up, right? It's like if it's your listing, you are not going to miss a beat. But if you're coming to do my listing so you can get business from that, I don't take anything. I'm giving you the opportunity to do an open house. People come in the open house. What if there's flowers that have now died? Don't leave them there. Throw them away.
But those little things people don't pay attention to.
No, it makes me crazy.
So the listing appointment I went on today, actually, so the reason I didn't know them, they weren't in my database or anything, but the reason why they hired me is because they saw how my other listings looked online, and they were like, no one does what you do. And I'm not saying, oh, look at me, I'm the greatest. But the point is like, you have to, if you really want to grow in anything, just be the best at it. Yeah. And so when you see these agents and they take like these vertical photos with their phone and the toilet seat's up and there's dishes on the sink.
That kills me.
Or you see their hands, you see their hand in the mirror.
Insane. The toilet seat up drives me insane.
Nobody
could have just lowered that a bit.
They don't even turn the lights on. They don't even turn the lights on when they do that stuff, right?
And then the other thing at an open house, like people come, they touch things, they move things. Yeah. So use your eyes to walk around the open house, straighten the bed. If someone sat on the bed, straighten the bed,
be respectful.
The lampshade. It's like we do all that. And then this one listing we have, my husband has been going over because we're like the second or third agent. And so we're trying to help them. We know they're devastated. The house hasn't sold yet and it's very nice. So him and my son at different times have gone over to just clean the debris from the wind that's around the house. And the agents, the clients are like, wow, we've never met anyone like you guys. Like no one would do that.
So tell me, Debbie, is that is that how you get your business? Is it because of your meticulous nature that the word of mouth from client to client, or your goodwill that you provided to one client has created word of mouth for them to refer you out to others?
I mean, I'll definitely say referrals and word of mouth have definitely been how we've gotten our business. I also believe in, and I have a book, The Art of Real Estate and 52 Ways to Achieve Success in Real Estate. One of the things is to show up. You have to, we are celebrity-ish, right? Because our photos are everywhere. You might be on a bench sign, you're sending marketing out. So of course people are going to know you, and you're not going to know them most of the time. So you have to be present. You have to go to your open house. You have to be there once in a while so people can see you, touch you, feel you, right?
Yeah.
We might know so-and-so celebrity, but they don't know us. So if they need to make themselves accessible, like we need to make ourselves accessible.
That makes sense. Yeah. What's since you said you were coaching a lot of the new agents, what do you feel like is a mindset shift that you believe every new agent should have in today's market?
Well, I'll say most of them don't do well. Most of them come into my very first, because when I coach people one-on-one who are paying me directly to coach, it's a different accountability because they are paying, but because it's, that's part of our value to our agents we're bringing in. I will train them. They ask me, I'll coach them further. Most of them come in, they learn our back end. I say, I'm always available. Text me. I'll get right back to you. Yesterday, someone texted me. I said, I'm in a meeting at the conference. I'll get right back to you. Answered her questions. But a lot of people come in. I go through all the training. I say, okay, after you get all that done, let's meet again. And I always say, my husband likes to be, he's the broker, and he's always front and center. I'm kind of all over the place. I don't like to sit still. Right. So he's at the office, and he's there, and he's the broker, and he works our own deals. But if you sit next to Adam, you are going to hear all the different issues that come up with all these different agents. And he's talking to the attorney. And so and the agents who have listened to this and do that have all become successful. I'll have an agent come in, and I say, I give them the whole routine and said, every day you should come in and sit. I mean, no one comes in. They don't come in. They don't do it. And these are new agents. They're going to flounder. I do believe that the new team member who's coming aboard, she's young, she's my son's age, 27. I think she is motivated. I can see it that she's motivated. I am, because she's going to be on my team. I'm going to coach with her week to week. I'm sending her assignments and holding her accountable, and we'll see. But and I did a post today, which I sent to you, Chris, about the wrap up of what I saw from this meeting here with 300 agents from around the globe. And I did a quick recap, but it's all the same. It's hard work, it's mindset, it's follow through. And the agents who don't do that, or say they're too busy, when someone tells me, Debbie DiMaggio, that they're too busy, I'm sorry, I'm not arrogant, but I even when someone asks me, like, will I pull a buyer broker agreement for them and send it to them? It could be anyone in my office. I'll do it. Not that I don't have 1,000 other things to do, but I make the time. And people just, someone said the other day, I wanted her to go to look at a house and take some photos before they started doing the work, the contractors. And I'm still going to ask her. I wasn't going to ask her, but I'm going to ask her. You said you were doing this from this time to this, because I want to be easy. I don't want to be too hard, but I'm like, well, then she won't learn. So she said she was doing this to this, but then there was an hour she didn't tell me what she was doing, and then she was going to do this and this. So I want to know how in that hour, what was it in that hour and a half that was so busy you couldn't run by the house, snap some photos, because now the house 2 days later is already not going to look like the same house. So I've been holding myself from asking her, what were you doing in that hour and a half? But that's just me. But
well, it's just got to be about her growth. It's not like, beating her down. It's just all about making her better.
Yeah, it's constructive.
Yeah.
Right. I'll be nice about it.
No, you won't. You're a high D personality. I can tell. But you're gonna come down with that hammer,
like,
because you're gonna be like, because in your mind you're like, I don't know why this is complicated, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean. So you're gonna come down that way, regardless of what you want. I just know it because I'm you.
Okay.
Hopefully she's not a high eye and feel offended and start crying.
No, she won't. She won't.
Good.
but it seems like you've created systems in place. You have systems in place
Yes,
that now
absolutely.
obviously you have many hats that you wear. You have lots of roles, but through all that and discipline, you're still able to, like you said, I can pick up a text, send you a document, whatever it is. It's through these disciplines. Is there one specific discipline that you like to push with the new agents that are coming into your coaching?
Well, the one that always gets skipped over, which is the most important. What is it? What's your most important tool? What's your most important as an agent or a business owner?
Reliability.
Time
Yeah,
management.
that too.
Accountability yourself.
For sure. But your sphere of influence. So I told her, I said, I'm not gonna. I said, I have pages and pages and pages and 35 years of experience. I mean, like, I'm not going to go past. So the assignment right now, and it's been 3 weeks, I said, I'm not moving on to the next assignment or teaching until I see your 150 names of SOI and we get that into an Excel spreadsheet. And I need your bio and your questionnaire because you need that, right? I'm 35 years in the business. I just sent you my newest bio just now.
Yeah.
So you have to have those basic tools so we can send an announcement postcard that you just joined the DiMaggio Beta group in Corcoran Icon. We need to start with an announcement postcard before we can launch. So we just have to we have to go in an order.
Debbie, so I have that same struggle too, and I'm not glad you're going through it, but I'm glad you're going through it because we're not alone. Because
You feel understood.
He feels seen.
So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I have a friend, and her cousin's famous. So, but what I noticed in this, when you're leading a team or you're coaching, there's two different types of agents that that you were going to deal with, and there's very little gray area. I've noticed there's either this or this, and there's the agents that if you say, hey, this is what we talked about in the meeting, you don't have to at the end of the meeting say, okay, this is what you do. They're already doing it while you're still talking, right? And it's getting done. And then there's the agents where like, okay, so this is what we're going to have to do, and at the end of the meeting, I'm like, okay, so what do I have to do? What we just covered. Oh, can you tell me what that is again? Okay. And then we do the bullet points.
That's when you say, no, watch the recording. Damn
Debbie
it.
feels thin now too.
And then you go, I guess you're like, these are your 3 steps. And by the way, we are not going to book another appointment until those are done. And the problem that those agents, you never usually hear from again, unless you go and prod them. But I've also learned, and I used to like in my world, and do tell me if you can relate to us. When those used to happen, I used to feel like I was the failure. Like I was not motivating them enough. I was not coaching them enough to succeed. But then when I started coaching and mentor more people, which I'm very humble to say that I'm very blessed to be able to do, I'm learning that's not the case. There's either doers or dabblers. And dabblers are always going to dabble. And doers are always going to do. And you need to surround yourself with talent, which are doers. Are you in the same camp or is
Absolutely. So what happens so they come in and I meet with them and I go through all the systems and we have all these great tools and everything. And I get their website set up and half the stuff I do for them because it's like, well, you don't need to do this again. So let me just set it up for you.
No, you can't. That's your problem. That's why you're so high D, your initials are DD. Because you just want to.
That was actually funny, Chris.
You just want to take control.
I know.
That's what people like you and I do. We just go, just let me do it. Just let me do it.
Exactly.
I did that with my wife yesterday. We were booking this Epic Universe over here in Florida that just is not open yet, but they opened up 1-day opportunity for season pass holders to get into the park before the public does. And anyway, so the point was when the clock went down, we had to wait on a timer. And when the clock went down, it's telling you what to do. And my wife's just like slowly scrolling. I'm like, what are you doing? Do this, do this, do this, do this. I'm like, just get up. Let me do it.
Absolutely.
I don't want to miss an opportunity. She's reading every word. I'm like, step 1, go.
Exactly. I know, 100%. No, I remember this agent came in. I don't want to ask people too many personal questions, the agents that come in to work with us. So because I figure if they want my help, because they're not on my team per se, they're within our 80 agents, but they're not on my personal team. So I'm not going to track them down if they want my help. They certainly call Adam if they have a broker issue. If they've stepped in it, they're calling him. But if they want marketing or coaching, there's accountability. So I don't get the calls as much because they don't want to hold themselves as accountable.
Well, you're also more intense than your husband, probably.
Yeah.
I am. So, oh my God, this is so fun. So anyway, so this agent he was with me. He comes in, does the whole thing, and then I don't see him. He does a few open houses, and then he comes in like to quit. And I was like, or I think this was like a year or two. He came in at one point, like, what could I do? And I said, and he's like, well, I'm doing open houses. This was before he quit. He's like, I'm doing open houses and I think people like me. And I'm like, okay. So you do one open house a week and you think people like you. And that was what he was doing. I said, well, I just figured you were independently wealthy because I've never seen you in the office since. I said that to him. I said, I figured maybe you or your wife were independently wealthy because I don't see you. And after we met the first time, I thought you would come into the office so you can sit by Adam and learn and suck up all the information. So then he tried it again. And then he came. I don't even want to tell you what I did as a favor to him and his wife. But then he comes in and he's like, well, this other company's going to give me a listing. So I'm going to go there. I'm sure
I'm going to switch companies for a listing.
I'm sure he's out of the business. No question. But you're either going to do it or you're not. There's no middle ground. It's just, you have to do it or forget about it. And that's
we're making fun of him a little bit. And, it's actually kind of sad because people do have these dreams and aspirations of doing really well in this industry, and they're kind of led to believe that they can do it. But the truth is, a lot of these people are told by brokers who just want bodies in their offices that, come to us, we'll get you leads and get you going. I think the responsible thing for people to do when they're in real estate school is probably take a personality evaluation before you even start class. Right. But the truth is, the reason why that doesn't happen is because the schools will lose money, right?
Yeah, schools want
exactly.
They want to charge for it.
I mean, how many times do you see these agents? It takes them so long to get their license to pass the test. When people have come to me for my personal attention before they get their license, I start to say, while you're studying for your test,
do this.
There's going to be times start writing your SOI, start coming in, start sitting in and listening to how it is, and also there's no glamour in real estate. It's not like we're sitting there like, it is the least glamorous. And this guy who actually I just learned, I didn't know because I'm a little out to lunch. I didn't know this person is on a TV show, $1 Million Listing. And I kind of embarrassed myself. I said, oh, what's your, I get to the conference and you're networking and I'm like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, oh, I just gave a referral to someone in San Francisco. I go, oh, you should know who I am. I'm Debbie DiMaggio. As I'm talking to this guy, I still don't know who I'm talking to. So as I was walking away, my girlfriend heard me. I was telling the story about how we built a house in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was hanging out in the pool with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, and I didn't know who they were. And my kid, I had 2 young kids, and it was a while ago, and I didn't know who they were. And Denise is like, oh my God, you didn't know who Tim McGraw and Faith Hill was? I said, no. I said, now I do. Honestly. And they're the nicest people. And then I saw them a year later. So Denise overhears me telling the story and she's like, do you know who you were just talking to in there that you kept asking what his name was 6 times as you were trying to put him in your phone? That was Steve Gold of $1 Million Listing.
I wouldn't know either. But your personality type wouldn't. You're not much of a content consumer, I'm sure.
No.
What were you saying,
you don't
Jen?
have time. But
I do want to piggyback on that. So I didn't know who he was. He was super graceful and very nice. But then he did get up on stage, and then I learned who he was. But then when he got up on stage, I do want to say he is one of those people who show up. And he does do, and he was the person I was giving the example of is he wasn't prepared, but he went on the listing presentation because he was in the West Village and that's where they called him to be. And he said, I guess I'll go. Then he went and then he realized he had this skill and knowledge to really win it. And so, and he shows up and people are like, you're showing up for the appointment. So even at the very top of his game, he is showing up. So I thought that was a really great example of it doesn't matter where you are. Now, of course, the people who are just beginning, Of course you should be showing up. It's like it should go without saying, but it's not true. They're not showing up.
Yeah, that's
So I just
100%.
realized something while we were doing this. I used this platform to do a Facebook Live on my reunion Facebook group yesterday, and I didn't turn the setting off, so my class reunion might be watching us live.
Hopefully you get some growth out of it.
So I just
If
want to say
anybody
I don't want you guys to think I set this thing up to market and get your business. It was a total accident. I'll go in and delete it after. I'm like looking at it now. I'm like, oh shit.
I saw your face panicked. I'm like, is there a deal on fire or something?
No.
You're like,
That's exactly what happened. I'm like, uh-oh. They're gonna think I'm spamming them, and I'm not trying to. So I'll delete it after the podcast. So Debbie, you're here for a reason. You have a couple books you're pushing. I know you say you're here just to hang out and have a good time, but I'm sure you have a reason to be here. What is it? What do you got for us?
Well, that is so funny because when I consult with my shaman who is in Miami, he said, you have to talk about what you want to do. And I said, I just love meeting new people and sharing my experience. He's like, you have to talk what you want to do. And I'm like, well, that evolves over time. So I guess you've asked, and I have to have an answer to that question. I haven't really thought about it, but because I've just revamped my bio and you commented on the working title of my newest book, please repeat it because I don't have it to memory yet.
It was locker room.
I forgot
from the locker room to
the boardroom.
To the boardroom.
So I'm in the process of writing that book, which is very different than the other books I kind of fell into. The real estate books was because some producer, not a producer, a publisher said, you need to write the real estate book. And then someone else found me and said, another publisher said, you need to write this book. This book is something I do want to write and have it go well and market it. The other books were kind of gifts. It was just kind of therapy from the empty nest and other things. This and getting me through the empty nest, this is very different. This is me taking my wanting to get more coaching clients because I don't really push that at all, but I'd like to help more people through, paid coaching so I can hold them accountable to achieve their goals, which I have done. And of course, I love referrals and I love working with other agents, but I really want to make this book a success. And then I want to take it on to do a TED Talk.
Okay, so you're gonna launch. You got the book, awesome. Coaching course is called what? How do they get there?
Coachwithdebbie.com, DEBBI, no E in Debbie. I changed it in kindergarten because I was always different.
Okay, I love it.
Love it. Yeah.
You want to end on a high I instead of an E. Get it?
Yeah.
Anyways,
no, it should be we and us and you.
Well, she didn't. I don't think she took the Keller Williams KPA.
No, she's recording.
Exactly. So it wasn't for an I or we. It was.
Yeah, she probably doesn't know what we're talking about. D.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just roll with it. You're high D.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Right. So, and then the third thing is obvious. If you have a referral out in Piedmont, San Fran, Oakland,
and LA,
DD over here. She's your girl. So very cool. So, all right. So is there anything else you want to chat or chat about? We can talk shop for a little bit, or do you need to go back to this conference?
No, I'm good. One more thing. I want to know so social media and video is super important. Do you have any? I think you guys are probably pretty good at that. I don't mind talking like this, but I don't like talking to my camera. Are you guys good on video and social media? And what tips would you give to all of us?
Oh, you don't do video content?
Not much. I'm working on it, but no.
Well, we'll get you started. So what I'll do is I'll send you in your email. I'm gonna clip a couple of clips from today. And then, so you could post it as a TikTok or a reel on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm going to send that to you in a Google Drive link. So there you go. You have videos already done for you.
Awesome.
Right?
I love it. I love it.
One tip I have, I teach classes here in KW about video is there's a few things you can't change about yourself. How you sound.
Right.
And how you present. You can actually change how you present. So it doesn't matter. If it's your first video, your third, your 100th, you're gonna get better. Just start somewhere. Just like you were probably bad in real estate when you first started.
Right.
Start doing it, and you'll get better over time. I once did a video. I was reviewing bagels.
I know where this is going.
Different shops, and I went inside the bagel shop, stood in line, ordered, paid, waited for my my bagel, got my iced coffee, got into the car, set up my phone, did my intro, started talking. Noticed I had a booger in my mustache the entire time. And I was like, I'm gonna keep going. I
You
didn't stop.
owned it.
I
You
I,
owned
I
it.
owned it, and I
Oh
gave
my
them
God.
like 0 because they didn't tell me that I had a booger in my mustache. But I still posted it because it doesn't matter who you
Oh,
are. It doesn't matter if you're wearing
right. I
makeup,
know.
hair's
Your
done.
people are gonna love you, and the people who don't like you are not gonna like you.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
It
so
doesn't
true.
matter.
That's so
It
true. And
doesn't matter.
that's true. And that's one of the things I tell my agents in another teaching moment is that we're all different. We all have different, all 4 of us, 1, 2, 5 of us, we're all different. We're all unique. We all have our own network. You know, there's not a lot of overlap. There's some, but not really, because we all connect on a different way. We have different styles.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the architect is very different than my style. Let's say, you know, there's different types of people that connect. And then there's, you know, I wish we had a strong Sicilian community, because different nationalities and cultures really stick together sometimes. And so it would be really nice if Middle Eastern, you know, some, I guess, but you know, it's nice to have whatever that niche is, whatever that community is, you know, really embrace that and try to work within that to get more business. And, you know, and you're not always the same, but there is some similarity. So it's
Well, to be
fun.
fair, in Southeast Florida, I've gotten business because I don't look Italian, but I am half, and they're very disappointed, by the way, when they meet me in person. And
They're
then,
like,
but I've also lost
"Cusimano."
business because I was in other things too, and I think we all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One person came and she said, an agent, she was new. She's like, I didn't get the listing. And I said, well, who was the agent? And she said, so and so. And I said, well, of course. And it was 2 Jewish people. I go, you're not gonna win over that agent. The Jewish community is very close.
They
So
have a
it's
connection
like,
that she didn't have.
do not hit yourself for that. It wasn't going to happen. It didn't matter if you were a new agent or a seasoned agent. It was going to be that connection. So whatever that is, you can be a new agent or a seasoned agent. The new agent might get it because there's some kind of a connection.
My new listing today were Buddhist, and I'm not Buddhist. I guess I just.
Well, you don't have to be. Just there.
I know. I'm just talking.
I
shit.
did hear that a lot when I had that. Sorry, Chris, but I heard the same thing when I had like a Miami listing versus like I have Miramar listing or a Boca listing. Some agents that would come up from Miami up here, they would, you know, speak to me in Spanish, like, oh, thank God you speak Spanish. Some people don't want to work with me because my English is broken. So and that comfort level too is
Right.
it's just something about the
Yeah.
comfort level and being able to
Right.
have that commonality. So
Absolutely.
it happens. It happens. I will.
I don't get
attest
it.
to
I'm
that.
sorry. I don't get it. I feel like you hired the best person for the job.
It's because you're vanilla and white.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, of course, but I'm just saying it does happen. I've seen it.
I know
Takes
it does
all
happen.
time.
Yeah.
So going back to your video thing, just for context. So our listing marketing that we did where Jen was at, for each one of our listings, we do 2 different types of videos. The one where you've seen where people walking and showing the houses.
Right.
We do that both vertical and horizontal for different formats. And then we also do, I do have my gimbal over there. We do a faceless voiceover tour as well.
Okay.
So we do that. Those are really super easy to do, and you don't need to be on camera for those. And then on Fridays, our team is called the Home Spot Cusi team. We meet at a different local establishment this week on Fridays at Taco
nice.
Place, and we write a script for the place that we're at. We do at least one
Okay.
reel collaborating with them, and then we'll do 2 or 3 others at the same place. So it's just a way for us to have fun on Fridays and create content and to make sure we're doing videos. So
and so are you setting up the camera, and you sitting at a table and you set up the camera and just push it, or how are you doing that?
Location.
iPhone.
And you're just setting it up and
no, I usually am the one. What we do is we create the scripts before we go, and everyone knows what their line is. Actually, here's my script for the listing video today, all crumbled up, and everyone gets their script.
He
Everyone
says
gets their
knows.
script.
We loosely know our
okay.
So we have everyone has their line, and then we get a wireless mic, which are over here, and I just plug them in. Boop,
Okay.
and then everyone records their line, and then what we do is I do what's called a easy edit. I'll put all the clips, I'll edit out just to make it easier on my editor, like all the mistakes and whatever. and then I'll send them
Okay.
the easy edit, and then my editor comes back with the final product. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a fun
Well,
system, and it gives us something fun to do as a team, as a
right.
community on Fridays. So
Well, I will look for those and
Content.
I will share them with my audience too.
well, now I'm holding you to it because you said
I
it.
will. I absolutely will.
Don't mess with Debbie. I can tell she's
You
an
know I
accountable
will.
woman.
I'll be waiting for it.
I'm holding
be
you
like-
accountable.
I'll be like, it's Friday. I haven't seen it yet.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Yeah, it takes us a few days. Well, we do it on Friday, but our editor takes a few days.
And then when do you post it on a certain day?
No, it's when they come in.
Okay. All
It's
right.
usually when I'm putting my daughter to sleep, and I'm just sitting there, just bored, staring at a wall. Honestly.
Oh my
Alrighty,
gosh.
so we're running out of time here for all of us.
Okay,
I
yeah.
know my boy Alex. I can read him when he starts jittering a little bit when he has to go. Do you have to go somewhere, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I know him. All right, so let's wrap this up. Debbie, give us a
Yes.
quick outro where people can find you. You already said it, but one more time can't hurt.
Yes, you can find me, Debbie DiMaggio. You can Google me. You can find me everywhere. I'm everywhere. But Instagram, Debbie DiMaggio, LinkedIn. I love to connect with people on LinkedIn. Call me 510-414-6777. Look for my new book coming out in a couple months. And hopefully I can come there and do a book signing at your office and
Let's do it.
have some other realtors in your team come. And yeah, I'd love
You'll do
to
it on a
come.
Friday so you can be in some of our content.
There you go.
Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly. As
Double
long as I
wham.
don't have to do any editing, I'm fine.
right. Alex has to go. He's getting antsy. Alex, where can people
All right.
find you before you go?
You can find me on Alex Mendel Homes on Instagram. You'll get all my information there.
And Jen?
Oh, Jen Konikoff with the Homesite Cusi team. You can find me everywhere. Everywhere.
And you guys don't need me, but I'm Chris Cusimano. All right, guys. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you so much.
you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Bye. Thank you. Oh, it was great.
Likewise.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye, Debbie.